Some people pop Mollies, some people pop Percocets, and some people pop PEDs. Just ask TJ Dillashaw. Boom, roasted. UFC Nashville is right around the corner. It is not as stacked as what we're usually seeing, so what I'm going to do is outside of the main and the co-main event, maybe I'll talk about 2 other fights, I'm going to put my winners in the ticker, my picks, and how they're going to win. There's some important stuff to talk about. Main event, Anthony Pettis versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Anthony Pettis was at one point the person everyone thought was going to be the GOAT. The man made it on the Wheaties box. Who can you say in the UFC or combat sports that makes it on the Wheaties box? And this was back, maybe you guys don't know what the Wheaties box is, but this is back when they were selective about who was on it. Kevin Garnett was on it. Jordan was on it. I was on it. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about the Wheaties box, that means you got the juice, you got the sauce, and you got everything else. Needless to say, Anthony Pettis has lost all of the above. Sometimes he goes on peaks, and sometimes he ends up in the valleys. I think with this particular matchup, it fits right down his alley, though. Pause. Because he's fighting someone similar with that karate style / taekwondo style. I think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson isn't going to throw heavy shots and heavy grappling pressure on, which is going to allow him to create openings and be free. Every single time Anthony Pettis loses, it's because fighters restrict the distance and restrict the range and constrict him and force him to have to grapple with him. He's not the best grappler. He's great at jiu-jitsu. He has great submissions. He submitted Alex Oliveira, who is one of the greatest BJJ practitioners in the UFC. But he does not like being pressured like that. I mean, look, Clay Guida beat him. Okay, take that how you will, but that's the type of fighting style that can beat him. But also, he turns around and beats a guy like Benson Henderson. If you have to take my opinion, I think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, although he's absolutely dangerous, absolutely surgical with his strikes, I think if he does not take this seriously and stay out of grappling range, he can find himself being submitted very quick. Absolutely. Tyron Woodley caught him in a guillotine and almost finished the fight. So I think that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has to be absolutely careful about the submissions of Anthony Pettis. And I think Anthony Pettis also has a great striking pedigree. And it's going to be a flashy fight. And you know what? I love my boy Anthony Pettis. And I want to see him win. I'm picking Anthony Pettis. I'm going to say he wins either by, let's say he catches him late. So I'm going to either say unanimous decision or I'm going to say submission in the 4th round. Next one, Curtis Blaydes, Justin Willis. Heavyweight bout. I think Curtis Blaydes, outside of Francis Ngannou, poses a problem for every single fighter in the heavyweight division. He's just got a great skill set. He's a grinder. He's going to throw strikes on the ground. He has great elbow. He can wrestle with the top percentile in the heavyweight division. I think as long as Francis Ngannou is out of the equation, Curtis Razor Blaydes is a problem. He's scary too. You don't want to fight someone with a haircut like that. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. Luis Pena's fighting. Macy Barber's fighting. Jussier Formiga's fighting this up-and-coming guy. Marlon Vera also on there. So there's some exciting fights, but I'm just not going to break it down because we got some important stuff to talk. RDA and Kevin Lee scheduled to fight at 170 pounds. And I think if he has success here, he's going to stay for a while. Him versus RDA, that's a tough fight, though. Because RDA, although he loses a decent portion of his fights at 170 pounds, he comes to compete every single time. The guy beat Robbie Lawler. But I think Kevin Lee, there's just something that makes me just want to root for this guy, you know? He's fighting at press conferences. He's talking trash. He's taking on the best challenges he can possibly face. That's why I'm choosing Kevin Lee, man. He's just slick. He's like me. He's not as handsome and not as good looking and suave as me, but he's like me. Next thing, TJ Dillashaw popped positive. Now, USADA didn't release this information. He did. He went to the fans and he said, you know what? I popped positive for a banned substance. I'm going to relinquish my title. He's looking at close to a 1 to 2 year suspension. He's probably going to claim tainted supplement. I don't know. You know, I'm not a lawyer. The facts aren't in his favor. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about how many different supplements the guy takes and what goes into his body. And it's hard to keep track of what's banned and what's not. Some people think he did it on purpose. You know what? At this stage, I'm inclined to believe him. Where was this slack with John Jones? Where was this slack with Vanderlei Silva? Where is this slack with Chael Sonnen? I'm going to keep the same energy. If John Jones is a guilty cheat, so is TJ Dillashaw. As much as I like TJ Dillashaw, as much as I like John Jones, if we're going to keep the same energy for both of them. He's a cheater until found innocent, because that's what you guys want to do. Iaquinta versus Donald Cowboy Cerrone. That is a great fight. That is a fight that I'm happy they're putting together, because one of the big complaints about 155 pounds is this. Well, the division is so stacked, we have to pick and choose who gets to fight for title. It's so stacked because you guys refuse to have the top challengers in the division face each other. That is why divisions get stacked. Because you have 3, 4, 5 different people with 6+ winning streaks. Look at the welterweight division. They keep saying it's the toughest division. No, it's the most cowardly division because you have fighters who refuse to face each other when they're in the top 5. Maybe if people grew a pair, you know what, I'm not a fighter. You know what? But here's my point, okay? You cannot be in a top tier division and not fight top tier competition. Otherwise, what does that make you? I rest my case. Yeah, Iaquinta, cowboy straight. I'm leaning more towards Iaquinta. The more and more I see that guy fight, he's a problem. He's a problem. The only thing that's been holding him back from a successful career in the UFC is differences with Dana White selling real estate. Like Long Island, I guess he just loves selling real estate there. He can do it. He can do it. He doesn't have to fight. I think that's the 2 things that's hindered his career in the UFC so far, so we haven't seen him be as successful as he possibly can be. That being said, I'm going to say Iaquinta wins by decision. He can go 5 rounds. Cowboy Cerrone absolutely is ridiculous. But I think that Iaquinta is just a different fighter, man. That Long Island mentality of we're going to get gritty, we're going to get in your face, we're going to wrestle, we're going to strike, we're going to mix it up. And he's not dumb. Al is not a dumb fighter. He's not some brain-dead fighter who's just going to put relentless pressure into nothing and hopefully gets a finish. No. He's going to pick you apart, pick up on reads, pick up on tendencies, and the Cowboy has had an incredibly long career. You can look at so much footage on him and tell what he's going to do next. Iaquinta fights around once every year, maybe once every 2 years. He'll probably pick up the pace now that he has a better deal with the UFC, but there's too much film for him to pick apart on Donald Cerrone, for him to be at a disadvantage in this fight. So I'm going Iaquinta by decision. Jorge Masvidal gives Leon Edwards a 3-piece and a biscuit. After his fight with Darren Till, where he knocked out Darren Till, mind you, I put up a video. It had 200+ views. They took it down, though, because they're trying to demonetize. But that's okay, though. Neither here nor there. Anyway, Jorge Masvidal, a post-fight interview with ESPN. Okay. This man, Leon Edwards, and I'm going to put it right here for you to see, is talking trash. And you know what Jorge Masvidal does? He says, come say it to my face, like an OG. But instead of waiting for Leon to walk up, he walks up to Leon. And then as soon as Leon thinks, you know what, this guy, 3 to the face. Then they had this, the real is on the rise. I'm sick and tired of, I'm excited about this guy because I'm sick and tired of seeing these fighters who are pretentious enough to act like they're real fighters. I don't know, Colby Covington, who pretends to be about that life, but when the camera's in the media circuit, he isn't about that. You got Conor McGregor's about that. He's destroying buses, destroying phones. I'm not even going to talk about Conor. Conor, you're a real one. Let me quit holding you guys up. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please comment down below your picks. Anything else you want to talk about. Like and subscribe because please, man, I just got monetized, but I'm not going to do it. But I still like to see that subscriber number go up. Anyway, this is Kairos Bodley, right place, right time. See you later.